There's something interesting that Donald Trump has said recently, that Israel is not doing a very good PR about this war. With allies turning against it in the middle of the war, it's not really doing good PR. But General Katoch, let me get you in on the role that United States has played over the past 6 months in this war. It started off with, of course, being on a certain position in this war. Now it's sort of saying that Israel shouldn't be doing it, and that they should tone down. Do you think it has been a ripple effect of the intensity of the war, or has US just played around what helps it domestically and internationally, that role of a mediator between the two?
Very frankly, I think as far as US policy is concerned, the policy is not dictated by the president as far as Israel is concerned, whether it is President Biden or President Trump. The policy is dictated by the very strong Jewish lobby within the United States, and they will continue to support Israel. These noises may keep coming from various quarters. Okay, what is happening is a violation of human rights and Israel must tone down. But in real terms, I don't see the United States actually reducing its aid in any form to Israel. That is not happening on the ground, and that is unlikely to happen again. Because the US also realizes that if they lose Israel, which is a possibility, if they don't get the support, they may lose Israel, then their entire foothold in the Arab world is lost. So they're not going to let that point go. That is one. Number two, election seasons are on in the United States, so obviously there are many lobbies there, and there is a very strong lobby which is also fighting to end the war. I think both the Democrats and the Republicans are playing to that gallery also. But in real terms, as far as Israel is concerned, I don't see any major action being done by the United States. However, I think an important point can be done when the US puts pressure both on Israel and Iran, that listen, this conflict should not widen. And I think that is a real fear, which Mr. Payne also pointed out, a conflict widening between Israel and Iran. And then I don't foresee the end, you see, because the oil fields get impacted. It becomes a total sort of war in that particular region. So that is something which needs to be avoided at all costs, especially as far as India is concerned, because then our economic interests are directly impacted. So when we look at the West Asian energy scene, I think both India and China would not want the situation to go beyond the present stage. Perhaps everybody is looking for it to tone down so that we can carry on life as normal. But an immediate end, as I gave you, Shreya, in my opening remarks, I very frankly, I don't see that happening as of now.
Okay, Pathikrit, you wanted to make a point. Please go ahead. Also, the fact that I want to ask you is that, will we see more Arab countries now coming out in support of Palestine as was expected earlier?
Well, first of all, of course, there is support for Palestine from many of the Arab states, no doubt. There is deep animosity between Iran and the Arab states. There is a sectarian division between the Shia and Sunni. But if a war breaks out and Iran directly gets involved, then it will be very difficult for Arab states to take a stand against Iran. That's number one. That's very clear. Secondly, I don't know how much leeway the Americans have with Iran, given the fact that the sanctions that they have imposed on Iran by completely throwing them out of the oil market, and that's one of the biggest predicament that Iran has, because of which it keeps on using proxies to create problems for the rest of the world and rest of the countries in the region. I think something has to be done, because even for countries like India, it's not just about Israel fighting a war. This war and conflict has been going on for 50 years. It's not going to, nobody is saying that there will be a complete ceasefire and people will hug each other. But something has to be done to tone it down, for the simple reason, because it is impacting a lot in many perspectives, in many aspects, including the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, on which India has hedged a lot. That is not going to happen unless something is done on this issue. The Haifa port, where the Adanis have a huge investment, is very near to the whole region of conflict. I mean, which country will beyond the point say that let the conflicts continue, it doesn't matter to me anymore, because in a globalized environment, it's all interlinked. The cost of oil price will increase insurmountably if Iran goes in. And there's a very high chance, there are intelligence reports that Iran can use Shahed drones and ballistic missiles. That is not a good news for anybody, including Israel.
All right. We'll leave it there. Of course, war doesn't help anybody. So let's hope this does end sometime soon. Major General Dhruv Katoch and Pathikrit Pain, thank you very much to both of you gentlemen for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your perspective. Thank you. Namaskar.